Welcome, everyone, to the July 8th, 2024 meeting of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners. Would you please join me in reciting the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, welcome everyone. I'm Barb Lewis, Vice President, and with fellow Commissioner Jeff Benton, our Administrator Tracy Davies, our Deputy Administrators Don Houston and Eric Hostetler, and our Clerk, Brandy. I was looking for Allie.
She's hiding for just a minute.
Okay, we can begin.
Item number 1, resolution number 24-533, in the matter of approving the electronic record of the proceedings from regular meeting held July 1st, 2024.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 24-533. Mr. Merrill is absent today. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
And we do have public comment today from Mr. Rick Wieland.
Welcome, Rick.
Good morning. Yes, my name is Rick Whelan. I'm at 9500 Britton Woods Drive in Galena. And I've presented you guys with a little packet this morning that I need some consideration on, as far as there's a parcel at the end of our road that is owned by the commissioners. And we're having trouble with Genoa Township, particularly Paul Weiss, the administrator, saying that he does not have a resolution or some type of dedication of this property to the Genoa Township in order for those guys to maintain it. And it is adjacent to the end of our road, which is Britton Woods Road, which they do maintain that area. So we're concerned on what's going on as far as the dedication, if that's going to be in, who's responsible for maintenance on this area. Okay. So that's one issue on there. The other issue is, right now, the property's owned by the commissioners, and there seems to be a builder. In your packet there, you've got a copy of their zoning certificate and stuff. They've started construction on a house back past that property. And they're using that property as a driveway to get to their property. And they have signs and posts and a porta pot mounted on the front end of your property, which I don't know if the commissioner's property is considered public property for the county, or if it's owned by, or it's private property for the commissioners. But I don't believe that the builder should be mounting his equipment or his structures on commissioner's land without approval, unless you guys are giving him approval to do it. So we're concerned with the porta pot sitting there. We've got some people that fish down at the end of Britton Woods Road that have noticed that porta pot is up there. So we've seen cars and traffic going up and down there. I don't know if they're using it for their convenience. Actually, the porta pot should be placed back by the building site, not at the front of the road there, you know, in a public area. So I need to get some clarification on that stuff there, as far as what needs to be done is getting that stuff cleared off of there. If it is indeed the commissioner's property, then these guys need to move their structures off of it and mount it on their own land behind there.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Yes, thank you, Barb. Okay.
Thank you. We'll definitely look into it.
If you could look into one other thing I mentioned before too, at the corner of Walnut Valley Road and Red Bank Road. Walnut Valley is a private drive, I understand, and there's water and stuff laying in the intersection there, and gravel gets washed out on the road, and it's a curve right on Red Bank Road. So it causes some concerns with traffic and stuff going through there.
Okay.
And I talked to Lee Bodenauer about it 30 days ago. I haven't had any response back from him. He was gonna look into it and let me know, but he never got back to me yet. So need to follow up and see what can be done. I'd like to see if the county can take the lead on it and get something done with it, since it's a private road. I don't think it should be up to the citizens to have to call somebody on a private road and see if they can get something fixed on it for us.
So basically, it's the sediment from the private road washing onto Red Bank?
Right.
That, yeah, at
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
at the curve.
I've got a picture of that too. I can leave with you, Barb, so you can see. So
Yeah.
that's all I had this morning. So thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, we can continue.
Item number 3, resolution number 24-534, in the matter of approving purchase orders, then and now certificates, and payment of warrants in batch numbers CMAPR 0705.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 24-534. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-535, in the matter of acknowledging receipt of annexation petition from agent for the petitioner Michael R. Shade, attorney at law, requesting annexation of 60.836 acres of land in Berkshire Township to the city of Sunbury.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 24-535. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-536, in the matter of approving travel expense request.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 24-536. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Item number 6, resolution number 24-537, in the matter of authorizing the purchase of power stretchers for the use of the Delaware County Emergency Medical Services Department.
So moved.
Second, discussion,
Morning, Commissioners. Jeff Fischel, Director of EMS, Delaware County. These power cots and power load systems are just part of our normal purchase of new ambulance deliveries. They go in tandem with the ambulances that we purchased late last year. I'm here to answer any questions you might have about them.
any questions?
No.
Vote, please.
Vote on motion 24-537. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-538, in the matter of ranking the proposals submitted for Delaware County Emergency Medical Services billing.
So moved.
Second, discussion,
Morning, Commissioners. Jeff Fischel, Director of EMS, Delaware County. I'm here to speak on the proposal for EMS billing for Delaware County. We did receive 3 bidders, and I'm here to rank them. Quick Med Claims is who we selected as the top overall candidate or company to provide billing services for our department. They met and exceeded all requirements, and they also offer a couple additional services that will be very useful to our department. Emergency management and EMS consultants came in second, and MedAccount came in third. And I'm here to request your approval in selecting them as the bid winner for our EMS billing. I'm here to answer any questions you might have about that.
Yeah, I had a couple questions for you, Jeff. Thank you for doing this. I know we've kind of got into an urgent situation, so appreciate everybody, jumping on this and getting it addressed. How long is the term of this agreement?
So we requested in the contract for them to give us pricing for years 1 through 5. These are 1 to 2 year terms, is what I remember out of the contract. And Quick Med Claims was the one that submitted a fee that did not increase after year 2, and they submitted the lowest fee request to begin with.
Okay. I know there's been some, in the recent past, there's been a gap in collections, and would this group do the catch-up to get us current in those collections, or is that up to the previous contractor to fulfill that?
So I have some updates on that. I got an email this morning that Change Healthcare did receive a successful transition of our billing information from ImageTrend as of Friday. And so they're going to do a couple more tests, and then they're supposed to start billing for us again. I did reach out to these vendors and ask how quickly they would be able to onboard us. The quickest they feel like they could onboard us and really begin producing or getting claims in and out is September 1st. So there's a lot that goes into the onboarding. We will have the conversation about them. Can you take on claims that Change Healthcare did not bill out? If Change Healthcare is not going to get on those timely, for lack of a better term. And so there's a lot of conversation to be had with the vendor that we've selected.
Okay. Yeah, I know that could be significant dollars involved in that transition, so we need to be diligent in getting, I know you know that.
And just for the record, I have asked multiple times, Change Healthcare, when will we begin billing? What are we looking at for timely filing? And I have yet to get a clear answer from them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so glad we're able to find someone. It's, boy, there's a lot of money involved here, and I know your follow-up has been great, and thank you for that. You said that the new group might offer additional services?
Yes.
What might those be?
So we had certain requirements that we asked of every billing service, but what we found is this group and one of the others, they also offer a service where it seems like daily we get requests from attorneys' offices that are representing a client that might have been in a car crash or something like that, and that comes into our office, and our fiscal coordinator and our compliance coordinator have to handle the processing of that information. This company will handle that for us. There'll be a site set up where the attorney's offices have to go pay a fee, select or wait for the record to be given to them, and the company handles that for us. So it takes quite a burden off of our office staff, and that's just one of the things that they offer. Their online portal and the ability to go in and look at their billing in real time is pretty advanced. And so if anybody has a question of, how are we projecting forward on, for example, Railroad Medicare, I can specifically go in and look at Railroad Medicare on their portal. So it's pretty advanced, and it's not to say some of the others weren't advanced as well, but theirs was user friendly, and so then there's other things that they offer as part of a package. So
Boy, that's great.
Okay.
Good.
They're based out of Pennsylvania, but our particular account manager, he's in Pittsburgh, and I learned this about him, that he used to also be an EMS director. So I think he kind of understands us when it comes to that. So that'll be a nice relationship to have with our account rep.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Good news. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 24-538, Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Resolution number 24-539, in the matter of accepting the sheriff's office budget, estimating the cost of operating the jail and feeding its inmates for 2025.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Thank you. Dean Stelzer, Delaware County Sheriff's Office. Revised code requires the Sheriff's Office to submit a preliminary budget for our jail operations and identify the costs to house, feed, and provide medical services to our inmates. Provided that estimate for 2025. Just a couple notes, just in general with our jail operation. We continue to struggle staffing correction officers. It's just a constant. I don't know what the average. We probably average 4 or 5 hires a month, and they do sometimes turnover. From a budget standpoint, you'll see our overtime is still up there pretty high, compared to just what our salary costs are. But again, that continues to be a challenge. Medical services saw a pretty big jump in the last 2 or 3 years in those costs. That's a big driver of cost in our budget. Other than that, there's not too many things outside the ordinary. I didn't include any costs. We're looking at potential building improvements, which we've worked with the Building Maintenance Division and commissioners. We're currently in phase 2 of some preliminary design work on what improvements might be included and the timing, and obviously some updated cost estimates for what that might be. We've got Nick Cariff, our jail director here. I think he can give you a little bit of an update on where that stands and what that might look like moving forward.
Okay, that's great. Welcome.
Like Dean said, we're currently received a proposal to enter into work with DLZ. So we're going to be meeting with John here I think this week, and we'll be discussing, what that looks like moving forward. And at this point, kind of unsure of the timeline, but something that we're looking at to be able to get a better idea of some, what the needed renovations and, serviceable, what's unserviceable at this point, and how we can move forward.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, there is, I know part of the state capital budget allocated some significant dollars for grants for prison renovation, construction, and so I would encourage you to make sure you look at all options there, because it, could help fund the improvements.
Absolutely.
So that's that phase two that Nick referenced is a follow-up. We did a preliminary, just kind of what the needs might be and trying to look out into the future. Things have changed in how we house prisoners.
Sure.
And even when the last improvements were made at the jail, it's just changed quite a bit. And part of that initial analysis too is looking at how we can be more cost effective and perhaps less reliant on corrections officers, utilizing technology, locations of things to try to, because it is such a challenge to staff. But also, we're looking at getting some cost estimates and a phasing period, because you can't just go in and shut the jail down. And hopefully we can get before, I don't know what their timeline is, before the end of the year, maybe third quarter, some preliminary numbers. And I'd like to maybe work with Justin Navi, because some of that might be spread out over a few years.
Sure.
There may be a phase one, a phase two, and a phase three. And it may be interjected into a longer-term capital plan, so that we can also, commissioners, you can look at how that might be financed down the road, and what might be an approach to making sure we can line that up. The grant funding, sometimes you have a pretty clear idea what you're going to move forward on. Makes it a little easier to get some of that grant money, because you've got a commitment there, and that you're not trying to pass a levy or something to enable you to do the grant. So we'll keep you apprised on how that moves forward.
Good, great.
I would like to
Thank
add
you.
to,
Oh, go ahead.
they did make some change to the revised code of what we can use the inmate proceed funds from the commissary sales and phone sales to include actual construction, like brick and mortar, for medical and mental health facilities within the jail. So that's something that we're looking at to hopefully utilize moving forward. And then that is part of kind of the plan, is to, as Dean said, our medical costs have gone up exponentially kind of over the years, and that's just seems to be the thing that we deal with the most. And with that comes dedicated space and everything for the medical services, and just the overall amount of sick and ill inmates that we seem to keep.
That's what I wonder too, with the rise in the cost of medical services. What is that cost mainly due to? Is it increase in mental health services? Is it any particular thing?
I wouldn't
I don't know if it's
say so much
pinpointed.
that. I mean, we have people there to help address some of that.
Right.
A lot of it is just regular medical care. We pay to have nurses and access to a doctor, so we're paying about, I think it's what, $115,000 a month, basically on a retainer basis, to have the medical staff, the contracted medical staff out there. So that's 1.3 million of the 1.8 million. Beyond that, there's outside services that they can't provide. Somebody has an issue, transport them to ER or whatever, and we're responsible to pay those costs. Now we pay the Medicaid rate, which is quite a lot less than the rack rate for some of those services, but it does, a fair amount of that is those sort of outside services. Dental services, we have a contracted entity that comes in to the jail because we determine it's less costly, even though it's $2,000 every time they show up. But the cost of transporting prisoners and everything involved in that, that's, even though it's a wage cost that we incur, but it's not free either. So.
Sure, yeah. How many are in the jail right now?
I'm not sure today. I know last
Roughly.
week when I checked, it was like 145, 150.
Okay. And I know we're trying to work on the Medicaid coverage for drugs, so Yeah, so people aren't taking off their usual medication when they are in jail, and so we've been working on that for a while and continue to work on that. That's at the state level that we're working on that. We've done it at the federal level too, so, in the state. Any other questions?
Nope.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in. Good luck.
Yeah.
Got a tough job.
Do we need to vote?
Call for vote.
Okay.
Vote, we do need to vote. Thank you.
Vote on motion 24-539, Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Resolution number 24-540, in the matter of approving an agreement by and between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners, the Common Police Court Domestic Relations Division, and electronic specialty company to purchase video conferencing equipment.
So moved.
Second discussion.
Morning, Commissioners. Justin Navi, Director of Finance. This item's been submitted for the purchase of video conferencing equipment, and this item will be used by the Domestic Relations Court for 2 of the remaining hearing rooms.
Okay.
And this project was in the 2024 budget.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Vote, please.
Vote on motion 24-540, Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Resolution number 24-541, in the matter of approving the renewal services agreement and order form to the services agreement between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners and OpenGov, Inc. for software services.
So moved.
Second discussion.
Thanks, Commissioners. This secondary item is a contract renewal for 3 years with OpenGov, and this contract is for the software we use to administer the budget.
Okay. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 24-541, Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Justin.
Resolution number 24-542, in the matter of approving a request for proposals for workers' compensation third-party administrator services for Delaware County, Ohio.
So moved.
Second.
Good morning.
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Don Houston, Deputy Administrator, and I'm recommending your approval of this resolution, which would allow for us to receive competitive sealed proposals for the county's TPA services for our self-insured and lagging state fund claims for our workers' compensation program. The proposals would be due by July 26th, and the period for the contract would be from September 1st of this year through August 31st of 2027. This would also come with an option of a renewal for an additional 2 years. So if you have any questions, I would be happy to try to answer them for you.
Okay. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 24-542, Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Resolution number 24-543, in the matter of authorizing the performance of a cost analysis study to determine the cost of the Delaware County Dog Shelter of providing the services required under sections 955.12, 955.15, and 955.16 of the revised code.
So moved.
Second discussion.
Again, Don Houston, Deputy Administrator. This resolution would allow us to review our direct and indirect costs of the dog shelter and the services that are required under the revised code. Myself and our dog warden, Mitch Garrett, would be working in conjunction with Justin Navi and the the auditor's office, Auditor Kaitza, to review what those costs and conduct an analysis as required by the revised code. It's been a number of years since we've looked into these actual costs, and we'll be coming back to you with any recommendations for making adjustments to our fee schedule.
Okay. Questions? Nope. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 24-543, Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 24-544, in the matter of approving a request for statements of qualifications, architectural, engineering, design services as the architect of record for the new Social Services Administration facility for Delaware County, Ohio.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Good morning, John Melvin, Director of Facilities. Working with our owner's rep, Pizzuti, we've drafted this request for qualifications to go out and look for maybe a fresh design firm to look at the Social Services Administration building. So qualifications will be due July 31st.
Okay. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 24-544. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-545, in the matter of approving a services agreement with Flipside Commercial Services LLC for cleaning and floor care services at the Sheriff's Training Facility.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Yes, as directed, we went back, had discussions with Flipside. We revised this contract to look at cleaning twice a week, and we did remove most of the floor care out. We did keep in the annual stripping and waxing of the hard floors out there. Anything else we'll do, we'll take care of other needs, so as needed. So the revised and not to exceed annually would be $22,195.
Okay, thanks for working on that, John. Any questions? Vote, please.
Vote on motion 24-545. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye. Thank you, John.
Resolution number 24-546, in the matter of approving the national opioid settlement with Kroger and authorizing the county administrator to execute the subdivision participation and release form.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Good morning, Eric Hostetler, General Counsel. Multiple states, including Ohio, have reached a settlement, tentative settlement with Kroger in the opioid litigation. And in order for the county to participate and receive a distribution of those funds, we need to authorize that settlement and approve a subdivision participation form. And this resolution will do that and authorize Tracy to submit that participation form. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about this settlement. We do not know what our allocation will be until all of the political subdivisions have submitted their forms. We don't know how many are participating, and so that will make then we can make a determination as to how much we are getting.
When would it be, when would you expect it to be finalized? Is it, I assume there's a deadline to.
So the deadline is August 12th for participation forms. It'd probably be a couple months after that we would know. They have typically extended those deadlines, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Good.
Okay. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 24-546. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
And just had one question as far as reading about the recent June 27th Supreme Court decision regarding Purdue Pharma. We participated in that, didn't we?
Yeah, so that was a bankruptcy, and our role in that was as a claimant to approve that bankruptcy plan, which we did along with others, just to make sure that we were going to receive a distribution under that bankruptcy plan. What the issue before the court was whether individual members of the Sackler family that owned Purdue and ran that company could get individual releases and immunities under the bankruptcy plan. And from what I recall, they sought out a particular bankruptcy court to file in so that they could have a favorable decision on that, because it was an open question as to whether a bankruptcy plan could provide individuals with immunities like that. Well, the Supreme Court said that no, it cannot. And so I'm not sure what will happen with that bankruptcy plan. It will have to go back to the lower court to determine what that bankruptcy plan will be, since it cannot include those individual immunities. Our attorneys had recommended participating in that plan or approving that plan because the concern was maybe the funds funding that bankruptcy plan would not be available if we didn't approve it with those immunities in place. So I'm not sure what will happen now. That is separate from the action that we took this morning with the Kroger settlement, and it's separate from all of the other settlements that are finalized. It would just impact that Purdue bankruptcy. There have been some other manufacturer bankruptcies, but Purdue was the only one that included these individual immunities.
I see. Okay. Okay, thank you, Eric.
Resolution number 24-547, in the matter of approving a services agreement with Bear Environmental LLC for liquid sludge hauling services.
So moved.
Second discussion.
Morning, Commissioners. Eric McPeak, Deputy Director of Operations for the Regional Sewer District. This is a annual contract for as-needed liquid hauling services of our biosolids sludge. We do this to supplement our own internal needs if there's equipment down or an increase in needs, and also for our internal staff that drive this stuff around being out. So this is with Bear Environmental. We saw a few bids this year, but because it's under 75,000, we went with them. We've had good response from them in the past couple of years. Can answer any questions you might have.
Questions? Vote, please.
Vote on motion 24-547. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Eric.
Eric.
Resolution number 24-548, in the matter of approving an amended and restated cooperation agreement between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners and the Board of Township Trustees of Orange Township, and Delaware County for the East Orange Road Improvements Project.
So moved.
Second discussion.
Good morning, Rob Riley, Chief Deputy Engineer. We were informed not too long ago that about 15 years ago, you may recall that we participated with Orange Township on a project to widen East Orange Road. This was from South Old State Road over to Bale Canyon in front of Orange Middle School and Orange High School. As was typical for those types of projects that were OPWC funded, we had a $50,000 grant match at that time, and for whatever reason, that was never paid to Orange Township, never invoiced, and never paid. And so that turned up, and Orange Township has asked if they could simply roll that contribution instead into the current Bale Canyon project, and we are supportive of this. With the current project that certainly is worthwhile. So we would recommend approval of this.
Okay.
Yeah, so phase one is done. The
Correct.
road is reopened. Phase two, when would that start, do you think, Rob?
Tentatively looking at this fall to bid that, working with Orange Township. There is still quite a bit of utility work that will need to be done, but I believe the township is working to finish up the acquisition of the necessary right-of-way. And then our hope would be phase three, which is kind of the middle section, would follow shortly thereafter. And we'll have some further discussions with your board about some potential county cooperation on that third section.
Okay. But Bale Canyon is open now. I haven't gone
Correct.
down there since we finished phase one.
It is,
so-
yes.
Okay, good, thank you.
Thank you. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 24-548. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-549, in the matter of approving right-of-way work permit summary sheet.
So moved.
Second discussion.
Just have 7 pretty typical utility installation permits for you today, and recommending approval.
Okay, vote, please.
Vote on motion 24-549. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-550, in the matter of approving owners' agreements for Summer Crest Drive subdivision and Berlin Farm West, Section 3.
So moved.
Second discussion.
These are typical owner's agreements for the street and stormwater improvements for these 2 subdivisions. Summer Crest is a 10-lot, I'd call it an extension of the Summerwood subdivision, which is between Africa Road and 3Bs and K in Berlin Township. And Berlin Farm subdivision, Berlin Farm West subdivision is on the north side of Berlin Station Road near Berlin High School. I'll be actually talking to you about that in a few minutes.
Okay. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 24-550. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-551, in the matter of awarding a bid and approving a contract between the Delaware County Commissioners and Strasser Paving Company for the project known as Dale-CR 72-2.50 Cheshire Road widening.
So moved.
Second discussion.
We have received bids for the widening of Cheshire Road. This is between Pyatt Road and Old State Road. Strasser Paving was the low bidder. Their bid at roughly $2.9 million was about 12% under the engineer's estimate, so that's good news. We will also be receiving Ohio Public Works funding in the range of about $500,000 towards this project. So I would expect construction to start very shortly and have that wrapped up by later this fall.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 24-551, Mr. Benton,
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
We can now start the viewing.
Well, now I'd like to welcome everyone to the viewing for the consideration of the petition request for the construction of improvements to an extension of Rollison Pyatt Road located in Berlin Township, Delaware County, Ohio. I am Barbara Lewis, Vice President Commissioner, and with me is Commissioner Jeff Benton, and we can begin.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. Good morning again. Rob Riley, Chief Deputy Engineer. I have a short presentation for you today with what I hope are some good aerial photos that will help familiarize your board with the proposed project. Again, this is only a viewing. No testimony is to be given today, but my goal is to give you enough information about the project that you're aware of where it came from and what the next steps will be. So the reason we're here today, there was a petition filed by MI Homes of Central Ohio that was acted on about a week and a half ago by your board, which was joined by a development agreement. And that development agreement involves the Berlin Farm West subdivision, and I'll have some images shortly. But in essence, the petitioner is requesting that the county construct this new extension of Rollison Pyatt Road running to the north. And the petitioner has consented to a special assessment to be levied upon the 434 new platted lots in the Berlin Farm West subdivision. Total amount of that assessment is $2,604,000, and that assessment would be levied over a period of 20 years at a rate of $300 per lot per year. So here is a map showing where we're talking about. Again, this is in Berlin Township. Kind of a high-level map showing the area in the red is the property that was petitioned for the special assessment. Note the area in yellow or gold. That subdivision is called Berlin Farm, the original Berlin Farm, if you will. That was petitioned in 2022 with 91 lots for the same $300 per lot per year special assessment. That assessment has been levied, and a portion of that road has actually been built already. Here is a map showing the general route of the road to be built. You can see that the red, starting at the bottom, Section A, as we're calling it, that portion has been built. That was built in 2022. Section B, which is in blue, that pursuant to the development agreement would be constructed by MI Homes as part of the Berlin Farm West subdivision. That would be built and paid for by MI Homes, and the right-of-way would be platted jointly with the abutting subdivision phase. And then finally, Section C in green near the top, That would be the county-initiated portion of the project, which we would expect to start preliminary engineering on that either late this year or early next year, with a target of construction potentially in 2028, 2027 or 2028, starting that. And we do have a deadline to complete that project pursuant to that agreement, which I'll touch on in just a minute.
Does that go all the way up to Curve Road then, Ralph, that section C?
Yes, it would. It would go all the way to Curve Road.
Okay, but not beyond?
Correct.
Rob, how far is that roughly to Curve Road?
It's roughly half a mile.
Okay.
So if you've been through here in the last couple of years, you'll note we have a peanut-shaped roundabout. This was the first we have built in Delaware County. Berlin High School is just at the bottom left, just off the image, but that roundabout appears to be working well. You can see that Berlin Farm is located, the original Berlin Farm, again, in the northeast quadrant, and then Berlin Farm West is in the northwest quadrant. So just to get you oriented there. This is a newer image. You can see many of the homes in Berlin Farm have already been built. Many are occupied, and so that subdivision appears to be doing well. Construction on Berlin Farm West has already begun, so that is underway. Again, that will include about 434 lots. So in total, we're talking about 525 lots between these two subdivisions. Just to give you an indication of how much traffic that generates, we're talking about roughly 5,000 daily trips just from this one subdivision. Many of those trips will go to the south, will be destined south or west or east, but many will need to go to the north, up to Route 36, and so that's really the justification for this project, to serve this new subdivision as well as many of the other subdivisions in the area that have already been built. This is a little bit farther north towards the north end of Berlin Farm. You can see again on the left side is the outline of Berlin Farm West, and then on the right in gold, that is Berlin Farm. Moving a little bit farther north, this is generally where the new road would be contemplated to go. Again, the road itself is being designed and will be built by MI Homes as part of the subdivision. They are under agreement to build that and have that open to traffic by September of 2027. And so that would stop at the I guess the top of the red line, so to speak. So this is looking a little bit farther north past the subdivision. Again, you can see in the distance Rawlison Road. Moving a little bit farther north, you can see Curve Road coming into view. Again, a little farther north, now you can see Curve and where Rawlison Road intersect, and it is contemplated that this new road would tie in roughly at that intersection, potentially slightly to the west of that current intersection. And again, just showing where the road would end. And 3637 up in the distance at the top of the image, just to remind you, Rawlison Road is a township road, and so it is not under county maintenance or jurisdiction at this time, but much of the area that you're looking at is in the Berlin Business Park overlay, and so much of that is zoned already with a cloud zoning for both industrial and multifamily use. So it would be my expectation that we'd be working with Berlin Township when that area does begin to develop towards making some upgrades to Rawlison Road, because
Yeah, that's just a little road. I mean,
It
you can barely
is.
Very
see
small
it.
road.
it's
Yeah,
a little
very
farm road,
small.
probably okay for the agricultural traffic
Right.
today, but it will
Right.
certainly not support the higher demand that's coming in the future.
So would the intersection with Rollison Curve and the extension of Rollison Pyatt be done as part of the construction?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So the realignment, to the extent there is some, will take place to realign Rollison Road to intersect a little to the west of where it.
That is what we're contemplating, and we've at least conceptually looked at potentially a roundabout at that intersection.
Okay.
That gives a little bit more flexibility in the geometry of how you realign those roads.
You're gonna do another peanut roundabout?
I don't know about a peanut here. We might be able to get it away with a boring old circle here, so.
How far is it from Curve Road to 36? Because this is an important north-south alternative from 23, actually.
That is an excellent question. I'm going to guess roughly a mile. I'd have to measure that. I don't know that off the
Okay,
top of
I
my
was
head.
just curious. But again, this will be an important alternative to siphon some traffic away from 23, going from 36 all the way down to where Pyatt
Yes.
intersects Home Road and then switches over to 23.
That's exactly right, Commissioner. I think it's good to point that out. This is part of a much bigger corridor. This runs all the way down to Evans Farm, as you said. Will tie into the new Home Road extension. And so this serves really a pretty large area geographically and provides for some good options for traffic to get to and from 23.
Yeah, and around the city and in between the city and 71, so, okay.
So just to recap, the statute does require that your board conduct a hearing to consider the petition and the special assessment. And again, per the development agreement, MI Homes is to construct Section B, that is the kind of the middle section of this road, and have that complete by September 1st of 2027. And then we, the county, would then construct Section C by the end of 2030. We don't anticipate any issue with that schedule whatsoever. So I believe that is all I have for you. Glad to answer any questions you may have.
I do know going west, before you, going west towards Delaware, before you come upon Rawson Road, I mean, there are a lot of trees right there. I mean, you really don't even see the road until it's there. So that's good. I mean, I'm glad you're thinking of curving it into Curve Road, and I'm sure you can handle it. But, I mean, it is a very important road.
And for
Will
the
be.
Berlin Business Park.
And for
development.
Berlin, right, Business Park, yes. We do have a sign-in sheet. Eric, anybody,
The masses in
the
attendance.
masses, but we have no one here to sign in, other than our staff and Rob. Yeah, so, anyway, for the record, okay. And any other questions?
No, thanks for the update, Rob. Important project.
Okay, well,
We do have a resolution.
okay,
that we need to
thank
read
you.
and vote. Resolution number 24-552, in the matter of determining whether the public convenience and welfare require improvements to an extension of Rollison Pyatt Road located in Berlin Township, Delaware County, Ohio.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 24-552. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
And that brings us to administrator reports.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Tracy Davies, Administrator. Just wanted to mention a few meetings this week. On Wednesday morning at 9:30, we have our Transportation Improvement District meeting. And then Wednesday evening at 5, we have our Finance Authority meeting. That's it.
Okay,
I have nothing, thank you.
nothing from Eric. Commissioner Benton?
Just a couple other things. Preservation Parks Gala. I don't know if we talked about that. I don't think we did, but that was last week, and that was very well done. Nice event. We had our SEPCO board meeting a week ago Friday, and have not seen our increase yet, have you, Dawn?
No, I
Okay.
do not.
I was gonna follow up today and see where we're headed with healthcare costs for next year. And that's it. All I got.
Okay. All of the commissioners plus other office holders were in the Sunbury Independence Day Parade. And it was a great parade, as usual, thousands of people.
I know.
I mean,
It's incredible.
just, yeah, it really is. Everybody there in their 4th of July attire. And Sunbury is just such a great place. I mean, just Americana, and
Right.
it's always an honor to participate in that parade. And that is all I have for now. So we are adjourned.
Yeah.